Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, sovereign thinkers. This is L3's Gurus podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida, and today's date is Saturday, October 14th, 2017. Yes, it's been like raining on and off, little sun showers here and there in the Venice of America. Podcasting at CJ's Java Lounge, located at 400 Southwest 1st Avenue in the Yacht Club along the beautiful New River of Florida, southwest section of the Andrews Avenue Bridge. Ooh, yeah, just chilling a little bit, hearing a couple of tunes, which is, I was a little tired last night, thinking about going to a concert, but I decided not to. And I went to bed. Nice rain came in. I got showered a little bit, but hey, that's how life is, just nothing got ruined. But yeah, it was funny because I was like reading his article pertaining to Richard Spencer and Unite the Right for having this rally or meeting, speech conference at University of Florida, and they were trying to do some blockage of certain streets that was ruled unconstitutional. People have the right to protest and all that good stuff. I like to make this very clear. First of all, I am not fond of some of these particular movements. Alright, just to let you folks know. And I've taken the initiative to listen to his views. And in some areas he has some merit, but the solution, Lumi, is different from mine. And I'm not here to condemn. Of course, everyone's going to go out there protesting the Nazis this, Nazis that. One thing you got to be aware of, folks, there'll be a group of folks, of individuals and groups going to be protesting aren't liberty lovers themselves. The IWW and other communist sympathizing group, they are not fans of freedom as well. So it would be the battle of the debate over the battle of the anti-freedom lovers. Anti-freedom lovers. The only way to achieve something is not going around beating the daylights out of each other, screaming and yelling at the top of your lungs with one-dimensional rhetoric, but intellectual ammunition. Call them out on their actions and have plenty of merit to back it up. Yeah, the University of Florida has that courage. And another thing too, if they're going to try to block certain streets around the college areas, the fact is, it's a state-funded school. On Florida's budget. I do remember around 2008 when they had this Republican debate at Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton. A bunch of us went out there, rallied for Congressman Ron Paul. Went on the sidewalks, and on the left side of us there was a baseball field. People, firefighters that were against Rudy Giuliani, want them in the baseball field. They said you had to be there. I said we disagreed because Florida Atlantic University was publicly funded. We all did single file and did our chance. I know the Boca Police and the FAU campus police officers weren't too crazy about it. However, instead of being violent, vindictive, and calling them out, we let them know it was free speech. And we did, one of our guys, older gentleman who was active for over 20 some odd years at that time, reconciled, say, hey, let me take care of it. It was successful. Even the people in the baseball field who were on the baseball field joined us too, because it's called freedom of speech. You were peaceable. You stood on principle. And what was pretty cool, we had a group of folks that considered anarchists had flyers of Ron Paul and the things he may not stand for. And I like that. I give him good admiration. And a couple of my friends were saying, "Hey, you see this?" And they're a little offended. I go, "Don't get mad. Let's go talk to him." We had a good 10-15 minute discussion with these kids. And you know what? They were all right in my book. One thing they said for sure: we don't want people following the hype, which I agree completely. When I rally for somebody is on his principles, not my Lord and Savior or looking for a new king. I'll just make that clear. And it was interesting about anarchism. Anarchists, I said Emma Goldman, the eyes opened up. So hopefully those kids are grown adults now, doing what they want, standing for what's right, getting people to think. And I thank them. We left on great terms. So blessings to them and all those freedom loving sovereign thinkers out there that stand for what's right. Key to liberty is exercise eternal vigilance. This is why Richard Spencer thing. Him speaking. People are gonna get turned off. Yeah, that's fine. But don't interrupt. Don't create havoc. Let him speak. If you don't, then you are anti-freedom of speech. You'll be considered the enemies of our U.S. Bill of Rights culture and our Declaration of Rights under the Florida Constitution. Nothing personal, but principle. And I say this in good faith. Well, speaking of good faith, we're going to be talking on a few topics here. Mostly commentary. Give you my intake of this a little bit too mellowed. And, whoops, I'll hit the wrong department here. Sorry about that. This one is going to be entitled Iran Must Be Destroyed by Eric Margolis and NewRockwell.com. Yes, a liberty-minded individual. Pretty cool stuff. Some people in the liberty movement may not agree with them and everything too, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But it says, as it reads here from Mr. Margolis, President Trump has put the United States in the course of war with Iran. That was clearly his objective last Friday when he refused to certify the International Nuclear Accord with Iran and proclaimed heavy sanctions against Iran's powerful paramilitary Revolutionary Guards Corps. Oh, good grief. The status quo continues, right? God bless the MIC. That's the military-industrial complex. Trump's move was also a clever ploy to deflect blame for abrogation the key 2015 Iran nuclear treaty with the U.S. signed with Iran, Britain, France, Germany, Russia, China, and the European Union. Accusing Iran of terrorism and violating the spirit of the accord, Trump threw the Iran issue into the hands of the Republican-nominated Congress. He had to. All Trump's senior national security officials and those from the treaty partners in the UN reported that Iran had kept this end of the deal. What's interesting about that, believe it or not, it should have been into Congress's hands in the Senate when Obama was president. Just give you guys, some leeway here. So Trump trotted out the old song and dance about terrorism, which means anything Uncle Sam does not like. The same United States that supports the murderous Islamic States and its allies in Syria and Iraq. That won't be much doubt about how Congress handles this hot potato. The leading senators and congressmen who will deal with the issue, like Bob Corker, Tom Cotton, and Marco Rubio, are all firmly in the pocket of pro-Israel's lobbies. Yes, they are bend-over Bobs, in other means. Bend-over Bobs, right? Yeah. The U.S. vociferous ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, is almost a wholly owned subsidiary of the Las Vegas gambling mongo and uber Zionist billionaire Sheldon Adelson, which he was against medical marijuana in Florida. Yeah. Who is also a key financial backer of Trump and Netanyahu. How sweet it is, right? Yeah. I think it's beautiful. I'm just taking a dump. In fact, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appears to have more influence on Capitol Hill than President Trump. He used it to show off by humiliating former President Barack Obama. Israel has just scored a major triumph by using Trump to sabotage the Iran nuclear pact. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been long adamant and insisting that the pact be scrapped, having pushed the U.S. to destroy its old foes, Iraq and Syria. Israel now has its big guns trained on Iran, the last regional power that can challenge Israel's domination of the Middle East. Iran we should remember, the only important Middle East power backing the Palestinians and calling for a Palestinian state. Trump is surrounded by a coterie of ardently pro-Israel advisors and cronies aligned to that nation's far right wing. So far to the right, in fact, that their Israeli opponents often call them fascists. Trump, with his Mussolini complex, fits right into this mindset. In addition, Trump's virulent hatred of Islam and his deep support from America's evangelicals fuels this antipathy to Iran. The Israeli lobby and so-called Christian Zionists that make up this electoral base are beating war drums against Iran. Let's just throw their rear ends on the front line. Let's see how tough they really are, right? If the Iran nuclear deal is abrogated, America will have shot itself in the foot and shown the world it has fallen under the control of special interests for whom America's national interests don't come first. Europe's already disgusted by the Trump carnival in Washington, and its religious supporters will pull further away from the U.S. and closer to Russia and China, who will trust America's word after deal break Trump. Europe has lately signed billions in new trade accords with Iran, and most notably an $18 billion deal with Airbus for the sale of commercial aircraft. Boeing wants to sell 80 aircraft to Iran worth $16 billion. Thus, Trump's jihad against Iran will likely deny high-paid jobs to tens of thousands of American workers. This from the president who was going to create jobs. Iran had over 10 tons of medium-enriched uranium as part of the nuclear deal. Will Iran get this trove back if Congress scuppers the Iran deal? Doubtful. Iran destroyed many of its uranium centrifuges as part of the deal. Can it sue Washington for breach of contract? It was never really approved by Congress, just the Senate, just to let you folks know. Technically, it was an unconstitutional approval by the United States, but I will continue on here. Meanwhile, the U.S. heads towards some sort of military conflict with Iran at a time when it might go to war with any day with North Korea. Trump will evade the draft during the Vietnam War due to a trivial foot problem, is now clearly thrilled by all his new military toys. Many of Trump's close advisors fear Trump will trigger a nuclear war. It may be time for his top officials to step in and take away the president's nuclear launch codes. Israel is determined to destroy Iran so it can never pose a military or political challenge to the Jewish state. Call it Iraq 2. This means turning Iran's nuclear industry and its civilian economy to ruins, and maybe even breaking up Iran as it's done with Iraq into Iranian, Azeri, and Kurdish mini-states. Rome's famous statesman Cato the Elder used to end every speech with Carthago delenda est. Carthage, bitter rival and enemy of Rome, must be destroyed. Now it's Iran's turn. First and foremost, it was ruled unconstitutional with this deal. It was by unilateral decision by President Obama. It may be something there's like I hear like both sides. I haven't really read it, which I can say there's a lot of, I would be surprised there's a lot of great things about it. Iran, the people of Iran don't want to go to war. I don't blame them. The United States of America don't want to go to war too. A lot of people are sick of this crap. However, based on these deals, because this rule of the Constitution, because it was never approved by the Senate, it should have been done that a long time, and it was even claimed that the president wasn't transparent to the Congress or the Senate on the conditions. However, there's some articles on it pertaining to that deal. I do have to read it. I'll be very sincere. But one thing for sure, stop President Trump and the people in Congress, stop having foreign entities tell you how to think. Clowns like them are Federalist Papers and constitutionally illiterate. Article. Now, if you read it, they have the power. Or if you read Article 2, the President has these duties in Article 6 about treaties and all that. But the Senate has that power to approve these certain deals, treaties, etc. So yes, I'm gonna leave the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, on there on my footnotes because this is just one of the things. But other areas I really get turned off about this pro-Israeli or foreign influences. It doesn't matter. Even if it's Iran trying to tell the United States how to think, I'll be having that same mindset. So this whole thing being Craig is anti-Semitic, that's nothing more than penile microphone rhetoric. Alright? Question is for all you neocons and worshippers, warmongering worshippers out there, when did Iran ever invade a country? It's been a long time, right? And everyone out there, you better start reading, look up Operation Ajax. What happened in 1953. In a period of time, that's one of the reasons why the Americans were held hostage in Iran, because of governmental intervening stupidity. Now you want to go destroy it? It should be destroyed or go to war? Come on. Get your head on right. Stop watching this idiot box and start doing your homework. And it's just an example, because both sides are very good at that. Left-right paradigm, we call it the Mickey Mouse clubs. If I listed the bobbleheads up there, you go, okay, yeah, that sounds really good. And never take the time to read, because they assume, I assume he's correct. I'll take that. Face value, but no fine print. And to President Trump and his cohorts, we don't want to go to war. You know what? I can see President Trump, if you want to go to war, get you and your cornballs in the front line. See how tough you are. With all due respect, Mr. President. And don't worry, I give the same treatment to Barack Obama, the predecessor, as well. Alright? I say no. Definitely, Congress should have, if it has plenty of merit on the deal, then the Congress can approve it. Tell Israel to stick it, and anyone else. And the pro-Israeli lobby, or anyone else that's trying to tell us how to think, how to wipe our behinds. That's right. I'm an equal opportunity insulter. I'm very damn proud of it. Oh, man. Alright, the next one here came from the same website, LouRockwell.com. I'm in that mood. Read a couple of these things here. Some of the stuff. This is entitled More Gun Lies the Establishment is Telling You by L. Riker White. She starts with, as per standard anti-self-defense handbook, and using the so far unexplained Las Vegas shooting spree as the latest platform. The usual Second Amendment scofflaws still probably include firearm suicides in their gun death tally. Thank goodness folks deprived on guns won't use overdoses, tranquilizers, plus booze, carbon monoxide, razor blades, poison, etc., and bridges, tall buildings, and windows for jumping if they can't get guns. Or are the usual congressional victim disarmers misleading us again? Suicide by any means, while regrettable, is a voluntary act, and those determining gun or no gun nearly always succeed. With that in mind, let's put things in perspective. The 19,392 gun suicides in the U.S. in 2010, a typical year, swamped the 11,078 firearm suicides. That is, firearm suicides amount to a whooping 2/3 of reported gun deaths, dwarfing all other categories combined. So by lumping voluntary suicides in with homicides to inflate the anti-gun boogeyman and scare the kids, the gun grabbers are indeed trying to mislead us again. Another interesting cycle. A new study, but not by the authorities, who is in interest of self-preservation try to duck it, shows that in 2015, U.S. cops killed at least 1,152 people usually with firearms. It is the first time that statistics have been available because the FBI, etc., have refused to collect that data for some reason. That 1,552 death by cop is very close to 10% of the 11,078 homicides reported in 2010. Although it's killing by cop included in official homicide figures, someone else will have to answer that one. Either way, that would mean cops are responsible for about 10% of U.S. gun homicides. It is also highly relevant that, as documented, and arm yourself with the facts. Civilians shoot almost twice as many criminals as cops do, and their error rate, killing an innocent by mistake approximately 2% of the time, make the cop kill rate of 11% innocents killed seem downright criminal. While we're looking at things that misguided anti-gun folks like to cover up and or ignore, even government studies by hostile researchers admit at least 108,000 defensive uses of firearms per year, with other authoritative estimates as high as 2.5 million. And then there are those assault rifles. That's a quote, by the way. As far as crime goes, statistics and common sense both show so-called assault weapons are not non-starters, not to mention misnamed, despite Hollywood carrying an AR-15, AK-47, or other military-looking long gun concealed under your long black duster, or using in close quarters as a robbery or mugging perhaps, just isn't practical and rarely happens. Even the New York Times calls it assault weapon myth. In defending your home from an outside assault, however, such weapons are very practical. So maybe it would be more accurate to call them anti-assault weapons. And isn't always guns. 24 injured in stabbing at Franklin Regional High School, CBS Pittsburgh. And if you're worried about terrorism, firearms aren't the most deadly or easiest weapon to use, although they may stop such a weapon. Mohammed Lahouje, I hope I pronounced his name right, Mohal, drove a rented refrigerated truck weighing about 20 tons into a crowd along a roughly 2-kilometer stretch of Promenade de Angus on Thursday night, killing 84 people, including 10 children and adolescents, and injuring 202 others. Attack in Nice, that's CNN. And then there's a prominent role drugs play in mass murders. No, not stupidly outlawed illegal guns, established drugs. For example, most school shooters were on prescribed antidepressants like Prozac, Paxil, Zoloft, etc. And of course, U.S. schools themselves were another common factor. Las Vegas, Mandalay Bay shooter Paddock was taking Valium, which can lead to aggressive behavior. See, you see this? You see what's going on? Hey, how come we don't go after Big Pharma? Because A lot of those people in Congress are lobbied by them. They bend over for them. They're the Uncle Toms and Aunt Jemimas of that entity. That's just one of them. Our blast misleader Obama also fertilized the lie that with our guns, we Americans are extremely violent people. Despite that hate speech from the propagandist in chief, when compared to other countries, the U.S. isn't all that violent, about average, in fact. Except, of course, Americans overseas, these unfortunates in the military who are forced to invade countries under false pretenses, blow up wedding parties, funerals, and hospitals with B-52s, drones, and Hellfire missiles, etc., and are thus creating enemies for our kids, grandkids, and yet unborn for generations to come. In that overseas arena, however, as polls show, folks indeed think the United States, that is, the U.S. government, is extremely violent and poses the greatest threat to world peace. And congressional oath breakers who are sincere about reducing violence here in the freest country in the world, instead of illegitimately using executive orders to further tinker with the U.S. Constitution, the chronic oath breakers will immediately decriminalize illegal drugs. Well, of course, they're not sincere. Judging by the composition of the all-time world record U.S. prison population, decriminalization would eliminate approximately 2/3 of the robbery, of the robbery, burglary, mugging, etc., since that would crash the price and eliminate the need for folks to steal to support their drug habit. Well, at least their non-establishment drug habit. But forget political newspeak. That real reason for our unpopular elected pervert. I gotta get that word. Educators are again assigned to disarm us is likely the real reason the Second Amendment exists, and it's only the First Amendment. And second is only the First Amendment, which is also under attack. Here for updates, additions, comments, and corrections. Let's check this out. Let's see what they got here. Not really. Okay. But I gotta give them credit. It came out yesterday, by the way. It was pretty damn cool. But the truth of the matter is, my friend, you always gotta look at things in a bigger picture. So that's like a little blog. You can always check that out. And yeah, like I said, hey, they're trying to shove this down our throats, trying to use the Second Amendment as guilty, but everything else they can do is okay. Everything else is exception. Something really we always have to observe, my friend. You know how I felt about what happened in Vegas. Other people have different claims. The main idea, my friend, is a lot bigger than what it is. That is their motive. So stay vigilant. The Bill of Rights culture is the only way to keep us alive and defy the empire and call out Big Pharma. Health is everyone's responsibility, not just from the big corporate entities. Alright, my friends. Next one here came out yesterday by Jason Beasley and ClinicusUSA.com. Pretty cute, right? It says your Congress moves to strengthen the 25th Amendment to make it easier to remove Trump from office. Momentum is growing behind legislation that would strengthen the 25th Amendment and make it easier to remove Trump from the presidency. Legislation calls the strengthening and clarifying the 25th Amendment states. This bill provides alternative bias to transmit written and declaration the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties in accordance with the 25th Amendment. Each former living president and each former living vice president shall constitute such body, except in such an individual who has been impeached by the House of Representatives and convicted by the Senate, who has served as the president and vice president at the time the declaration of incapacity is made. Such body shall terminate whenever less than 2 such eligible individuals are living and shall be reestablished. Whatever. 2 or more of such eligible individuals are living. A member of such body may be removed by majority vote of all members of such body. Interesting, huh? Majority. Instead of 2/3, they want to change it to a majority. Pretty unconstitutional, right? Representative Dwight Evans, Democrat from Pennsylvania, announced in a statement provided to Politics USA that there will be correspondence with the legislation. Right now, there's a real anxiety in each and every corner of our neighborhood about President Trump's intentions and actions. Here I hear your anxieties and frustration. I feel them too. This is why I'm very proud to co-sponsor my colleague Earl Blumhouse, Oregon District 3, important bill that will provide much needed clarification of the power of the president and the office he holds. Legislation is a great idea because the alternative body will be bipartisan and also not involved in current politics. Congress is moving to put a mechanism in place that will make it easy to remove and not will president from office by strengthening the 25th Amendment. Decision will be out of the hands of Trump and his cabinet. See, this is so retarded. Okay, on the 25th Amendment. It is totally, this clarification is totally asked because going after one man. Who are they going to bring in? A little bobblehead? Look at the people. Look, I bet don't be surprised this individual, Mr. Evans and Mr. Earl Roberts, are really constitutionally friendly, right? They probably never read the Constitution. All they did was assume and listen to their party. Go, okay, you're not breaking all our rights. And what's funny about that, because the Constitution, when it comes to impeachment, they can make that decision. If I'm correct, it's 2/3 majority, right? Yeah. And they're going to try to use that, the 25th Amendment, to remove it. Come on. It's just totally ridiculous. And we all know the 25th Amendment is only used, it has never been used to remove somebody. So why you need clarification? It's called fast track. Make it efficient. Really? Yeah, so I'm real critical of these knuckleheads on the whole impeachment deal and 25th Amendment clarification. You can read it yourself. The 25th Amendment, it's interesting about that because that's why I'm at the Constitution right here, the original. Well, they came out since 1967, and of course it says here, whenever the vice president and the majority either political principal officers of the executive department, such bodies Congress may by law may provide, transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives a written declaration of the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. The president shall immediately assume the powers and the duties of the acting office. So, this is so funny about this clarification. To me, it's nothing more than fast tracking. Okay, so that's one thing you gotta look out for, my friends. And if they focus on one person, give me a break. I bet you if they use it for their buddies, they'll go wigging out, pulling their hair out. So I thought I recommend Mr. Representative Dwight Evans and Blumhouse, Congressman, recant it. Don't waste your time. Because the people that I have in there, in your team, your party, most of them are pathetic as well. Go blow smoke up your rear end on your own watch, not ours. And he's talking to a guy who's not really who's not a Trump worshiper, okay? So just make that clear once again. Don't assume. Alright, well finally this one came out here on personal liberty. Bannon did a 70% chance of Trump ouster by saying well. Conservative firebrand Steve Bannon reportedly believes that President Donald Trump has a paltry 30% chance of finishing his term in the White House due to threats as the president's cabinet could throw him out of Oval Office using legal maneuver outlined by the 25th Amendment. That's according to a source who spoke for Vanity Fair for a recent piece concerning notion of a White House crippled by internal turmoil caused in part by the president who seemed to be increasingly unfocused and consumed by dark moods. Here's an expert from the piece. According to a few sources familiar with the conversation, Trump, Bannon, his longtime security chief, Keith Schiller, I hate everyone in the White House. There are the few exceptions, but I hate them. A White House official denies this. Two senior Republican officials and Chief of Staff John Kelly is miserable in his job and is remaining out of a sense of duty to keep Trump from making some sort of disastrous decision. Today's speculation about Kelly's future increased as a political report that Kelly's deputy, Bridget Nielsen, is likely to be named Homeland Security Secretary. The theory among some Republicans that Kelly wanted to give her a soft landing before his departure. One former official even speculated that Kelly and Secretary of Defense James Mattis have discussed what they would do in the event Trump ordered a nuclear first strike. Would they tackle him? The person said. Even Trump's most loyal backers are sounding public doubts. This morning, Washington Post quoted longtime Trump friend Tom Barrack saying he has been shocked and stunned by Trump's behavior. Interesting, right? Personal Liberties, Jay Baker artfully analyzed the Vanity Fair piece in column Thursday, noting that it's a part board establishment effort to portray the president as an unhinged potential threat for national security. These establishment attacks on the president aren't surprising, but Trump's handling of the attacks, which are beginning to look more and more like makings of a coup in progress, should be a little puzzling to anyone who views the president as a master tactician. Last month, I warned readers that a handful of recent changes at the White House were aimed at isolating Trump from some of the strongest allies he gained during the ouster accent to the nation's most powerful elected office. Kelly's appointment as the President Chief of Staff was a matter of particular concern for me as I read a report about the retired four-star Marine General efforts to place the President on lockdown within the Oval Office. From that piece in late July, Kelly took over with former RNC Chairman Reince Priebus as President Trump's White House Chief of Staff. He's now in charge of about everything the President sees and hears, and by extension, he largely holds the key to what the President is going to think about any given situation. Kelly, according to reports, has the West Wing on lockdown, and at least when it comes to access for the kind of outsiders Trump's administration promised to empower in Washington. People have begun to take note of the changes within the White House, and it was, of course, hard to miss that things were changing when the administration abruptly cut ties with conservative strategist Steve Bannon, who was largely credited with creating a populist conservative message that got Trump elected. And late last month, former U.S. Ambassador John Bolton declared that he is one of the many people the president is no longer permitted to meet with the establishment regains an order in Washington. Yeah, but we all know John Bolton's New World Order material anyway. The whole thing is worth a read because it provides plenty of background on how Trump went from a victorious outside surrounded by supporters telling Schiller, I hate everyone in the White House. Now we have Vanity Fair report relaying that Bannon warned Trump of threats from within. Within a month ago. Now, several months ago, according to two sources with knowledge of the conversation, former Chief Strategist Steve Bannon told Trump that to risk a presidency was a breach of the 25th Amendment, a provision by the majority of the cabinet can remove the president. When Bannon mentioned the 25th Amendment, Trump said, yeah, you got people in here chilling, so it's all good. Good vibe. When Bannon mentioned the 25th Amendment, Trump said, what's that? According to the source, Bannon has told the people he thinks Trump has only a 30% chance of making it a full term. The 25th Amendment allows Congress to remove the president from office if his cabinet declares that he is unable to fulfill the duties of their office, either because of mental or physical incapacitation. Never Trump faction began fantasizing about removing the president on grounds that his mental state is in decline early in the year. And the media has spent months spinning various iterations of the unhinged Trump narrative. When Bannon was relieved of his White House duties, remember there was low escalation for the president. Some reports indicated that Trump's ego may have gotten in the way, suggesting that the president felt Bannon was taking too much credit for his successes. Other explanations centered on theories that Trump wasn't advised or pressure to cut ties with Bannon, either to distance himself from nationalists or as an effort to solve the political establishment to the administration agenda. Whatever led Trump to kick Bannon out of his inner circle is now crystal clear why the establishment wanted the conservative media executive out of the way. The Breitbart CEO was likely one of the very few people warning the president of what now clearly looks like a conspiracy to undo the administration from within. The outsiders once closest to the president are now in the White House. He's evidently surrounded by people to work and make his life a living hell. It's only a matter of time until they go for the president's throat. It's very interesting on this too. This is why, like I said, my friends, I am critical of the president, but I do see him as a patsy too. And I can be very frank. So one thing. So that's why some of the areas you gotta question, observe, and all that. And when I tell my friends that hey, if you're gonna be critical, have merit. Don't be a parrot. And I stick to my guns on this. But one thing we gotta look for sure, man. You're gonna have these for certain individuals. There's a couple articles you can look at too, but Robert Reich, building around a wall, all that good stuff. But one thing for sure, if they get off to have all these anti-Trumpers masturbating to the world climaxing, he's out, we're free. No, you're not. If you believe that, you gotta get your head out of your rear end. And I say that it's a lot bigger than what it is. That's why I observed this 2016 election. I was laughing about it. And all those crybabies out there too, that when he won. Here, everyone complains. Yeah, he's not our king. That's what people want, a king. They want a Lord and Savior, please. And one thing for sure. Bannon may have a lot up his sleeve, and he was considered a threat. Just like his Trump's first national security advisor, he wasn't playing ball. So, well, my friends, you gotta really look at the bigger picture, regardless if you like the president or not. They can do this to him. Anyone else, that'd be a big message. You can do it to anyone. Be aware, pay attention, and always remain vigilant, especially in the cloak and dagger fiasco. And I did address that of President Trump, his presidency, in the cloak and dagger fiasco. Everyone out there, pay attention. Don't listen to the bobblehead. Do your homework and think for yourself. And that is it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share it throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you see me something that's interesting you may want to check out, whatever you do, please address your correspondence to Quorum. Hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Streams Network, Scene.life, Minds.com, FutureNet.club. Ooh, a little crack in the back there. And I said Minds.com, excuse me. And of course, Gab, which is gab.ai, or patreon.com/Ludwig3rd if you want to be my donor, patron, etc. In addition, you can email me at lookaluck3@gmail.com. If you encrypted ones, lookaluck numbers 03@protonmail.com. Alright, my friends, that's all for now. Once again, thank you for your time. As always, remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.